guys, welcome on in to Drinks with Binks. I'm your host, Julie Stewart-Binks. I always have to think about that because sometimes I'm drunk when we start the show. But today I'm not. I am so happy to be joined by one of my good friends, sports broadcasting legend Dan Patrick, host of the Dan Patrick Show. You've been on NBC, ESPN. You've been in Adam Sandler movies. We've been in a sauna together. It's been a wild ride.
We had clothes on in the sauna.
Yes,
we
disclaimer. We did have clothes.
And remember, who was it? Michelle Kwan was in there, the figure skater?
Michelle Kwan, Chris Chelios, Jay and Dan. It was a great time. And we're going to dive into more about that in just a second. But Dan, on Drinks with Binks, I don't know if you might have gotten the hint. Sometimes we have some drinks on the show. I asked you what you wanted.
Yeah.
And you went with water, which was kind of a downer.
It's early. It's early.
I mean,
I start with water,
5 o'clock
then I chase it with tequila. How's that?
Yes, that works. That works. And also, as I said before, it's okay to anyone watching who doesn't drink.
See, I thought this was my water, and I was gonna go, wow, we got a
yeah,
planter.
we're getting weird already here.
Yeah,
on
it's
the
gonna
show.
be difficult to drink the water out of
So we got some nice old H2O for you.
Wow.
This is to show that, you know what? You can have a good time and you don't have to be up,
It's called edibles.
It's called edibles. Oh, yes.
What? What?
We got,
what? It'll kick in by the time this interview's over.
Oh, man, I'm jealous. We're working on season 2 of Julie Stewart Rugs, okay? Like, drugs. I don't know.
Oh, I thought you were talking about this rug here.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
Well, we're gonna do a whole thing on just beautiful rugs around town.
You guys spared no expense with the decor around here. This is really, really nice.
Yeah, it is. It's like my own apartment, but nicer and not mouse infested. So a little bit good. All right. Well, Dan, what we do on this show, first of all, I asked you where you'd like to have your drink today. You said you let me pick, so I picked a very special spot in our relationship.
A sauna.
Well, in Sochi.
Oh.
So Dan and I met at the Sochi Olympics, and we're gonna take those things to the Dead Sea and to the beach and enjoy our drinks a little bit nicer.
I did not have a good time.
Not the Dead Sea, but that's like Manhattan Beach, which is also great.
I did not have a good time in Sochi.
How come?
I didn't enjoy those games. I don't know. It was weird because, you know, Putin spent so much money, who knows how many billions, like 45 billion. And he had a fake city. It was a pop-up city where you would think that there are buildings and houses, and they were painted pieces of plastic. And I went, that's not a house. So it was like they couldn't get everything done in time. And then they had this amusement park in downtown, at the Olympic Village, but nobody could ride any of the rides because they weren't bolted down. So it was like, look, but don't touch. And I went, oh my gosh, this is a make-believe Olympics.
It was strange, and even there was a roller coaster that just like ended.
They didn't finish.
Fully.
They did not finish it.
Yeah, it was a weird Olympics, and I remember because I was with Fox at the time, and they had built a hotel for us, which was probably not. We shouldn't have been allowed to be living in it, but we came over to your hotel to use the gym, where we also really weren't allowed to be doing that either. And I remember you on the elliptical, though. You worked out every day. Yeah. Yeah. You guys had some nice saunas and baths.
No, we did. It was really a nice hotel, but I didn't have fond memories there.
Right, okay. And that was your last Olympics?
That was no, I did Rio.
You did Rio, okay.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Yeah.
But I did.
I'll watch it on tape tonight.
Yeah, it's better that way. Don't want to spoil the ending. But I didn't enjoy Rio either. I loved London.
Okay.
The London games are the best games. They were spectacular. Everything was great about it. But the interesting part was, whenever the royal family would show up, it was amazing that an event would start when the royal family sat down.
Wow.
I went to see Usain Bolt run, and I remember that all of a sudden it was one of the royals came in. Now, we were waiting. It felt like an interminable amount of time for this race to start. And like, what are we waiting for? We were waiting for somebody to show up. And all of a sudden, they sat down, runners take your mark, Usain Bolt finishes, the 200 meters, the Royals get up and leave.
Oh my gosh.
And I went, they must have been popping around to all these places. But I will say they embraced it. They went to a lot of events. Volleyball, beach volleyball was spectacular. The scenery, I loved London. I thought they did a spectacular
Well, it's
job.
a great city, but you would have thought it would have been so log jammed, already overcrowded many spots.
They just did a wonderful job in sort of mapping it all out. And you had Olympic lanes, and you could get around, and I loved it. I loved it.
So you loved London, you didn't love Rio.
No.
Okay, why? How come?
I just didn't, I don't know. There was something about it that, I felt we were detached from it. Because when you go to the Olympics, and this isn't a boo-hoo moment, but you don't get to see much. I would be in my hotel. I'd go to the Olympic Village that we'd go to our broadcasting center. I would spend 8 to 10 hours there, and then I would come back. Because there wasn't time to really go to things.
Right.
And so you felt like I'm at the Olympics, but I might as well not be at the Olympics.
Yeah.
And the same with Sochi as well. I'd go see a couple of hockey games, but that was all I saw. So when people go, boy, how are the Olympics? And I go, I don't know, tell me. You watched them.
Especially as a rights holder, like you're not going out into the city, really.
We were told not to go into downtown Sochi.
We're told not to go into the city.
And I meet this guy, and he's a security guy, and he's a bomb expert. So he gets drunk one night, and he starts telling me all these horror stories that could happen if we go downtown. And if you go downtown, and then you make sure that you walk in the front door, and then you go and know where there's an exit, and you got to look for the way. I was too afraid to leave my hotel.
Especially from a bomb expert guy.
Oh, I know, but he's scared.
Also, I'm worried that he's getting drunk in any capacity.
Well, they had a vodka night at our hotel.
Sounds about right.
And I said, why isn't every night vodka night at the hotel? But they had a vodka expert in there, and our security guy got hammered. He started telling us these stories, and we're like, this isn't good.
Sounds like everyone's just getting drunk in Russia and
Well, that was all you could do. Mm-hmm. That was it.
Well, that's all we did.
Yes.
I mean, by the end, I learned what a panic attack was because I had been drunk for 43 straight days.
Oh, that's not a drink.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I thought that was a drink.
Yeah.
It was a panic attack. I'm going to say, all right, I'll try it.
Yeah. I mean, we're sipping water, but we've shared a couple tequilas before.
That's true. That's true. We have.
So, but
you're an all-timer. Like I think that you could.
I don't like where this is going.
Well, how much do we want to reveal on this show?
Well, we have plenty of time.
Okay, all right, okay.
We're going to take a quick time out.
Oh, wait, but I was...
What a great tease, though, from the broadcast.
When we come back, I'll tell you how much of a partier Julie is.
Ooh.
I would grind over every SportsCenter I did. I just wanted it to be perfect. I used to watch every single one. I'd get done with it, and I'd have the tape, and I'd go up and watch the entire SportsCenter. And I don't know what I was looking for. I was looking for imperfection, and that's not a way to go about it.
All right, welcome on back to Drinks with Binks. We are drinking some H2O with the one and only Dan Patrick. And Dan, we forgot to do this, my bad, in the first segment, but I'd love to cheers.
Oh.
Let's toast to something good in our lives. So what are you happy about these days?
32 years of marriage.
Wow, congratulations.
I've been married longer than you've been alive.
Well, I've been alive for 32 years, so.
Well, there are a couple of years where, well, that was your career was dead, but you were.
Oh, okay, all right.
Wait, are we back?
Yeah.
Oh, we're back. Yeah, I would say that. That's and I got 4 great kids.
Wow, that's great. So,
And you know what? I put my wife and kids on hold for probably about 15 years when I was at ESPN, because I'm working second shift, and it was so important that I was trying to get ahead. I didn't know where I was going, but it was so important that my job was so, I made it too important. And so when I left ESPN, the major reason why was my wife said, and I have 3 daughters with my son and my son as well, but she said they're all going to be grown up by the time you get done with this contract. And I decided that day I was going to sign a contract extension, and I said no.
Wow.
And I I remember calling her up and saying, because she told me that morning, she said, you know, it's a 5-year contract extension. And I loved ESPN, and I was afraid to leave. And then I said, no, you know, it'll be fine, and I'll be able to be around the kids. And my daughters were 9, 11, and 13. And I started to think, she's right. Like, the most important time for me as a father was going to be for these girls at that age. And I just remember saying, what am I doing? Like, you know, what am I doing? And I said, I'm going to turn this down. And I left ESPN. And I called her up and I said, I'm coming home. She goes, okay. I said, hon, I just quit ESPN. She goes, okay. I go, nobody quits ESPN, hon. And then she goes, if we have to sell the house, we'll sell the house. And it resonated with me. She had the perspective, as she always does. I didn't. And I went, God, what would I be without you? And you know, I did the right thing. I came home, and I got home, and I sat around by myself for 6 weeks because the kids they had their lives.
Right, they weren't waiting for you.
No, so I sat with the family dog and for 6 weeks, and I went, I just made the biggest mistake of my life. And then you damn kids, like, I'm home because of you. Love me, appreciate me, I'm home. And then, you know, after a while, a couple of years, they finally did.
Then you realize the 6 weeks, because going from, you know, such intensity at ESPN to then not at all, it's almost like an athlete finishing playing.
Well, it's like retirement. You know, when somebody says, well, how long are you going to do this? And I go, I've already had retirement. It was that 6 weeks. I never want to be retired. Like, I got to do something. And people go, oh, it'd be great to just sit around. I go, no, it's not. It sucks. No. Even the dog was tired of seeing me. Like, come on, hey, hey, where are you going? I was like, damn it.
So when you were at ESPN, like, I mean, I understand the hours and the shifts, it's not conducive to family life, but did it really take you away from pretty much your home life entirely?
Because I'd get home, I'd work I'd get in at 10 in the morning to ESPN, do a radio show from 1 to 4. I would sleep in my office. I had a sleeping bag. So from 4 to 5, I slept. And then we had to write SportsCenter. I would get done at midnight, get home at 1, have a couple of beers, get to bed. So I didn't see anybody during the week. The kids, so I would get home, they'd be in bed. I'd wake up and they'd be in school.
Oh my gosh.
And I did that. That was I did that for 3 years. Stupid. But I was so afraid that I wasn't going to get another job in the business. In fact, I had a boss who said, you're over the hill, you're washed up, you're over the hill, and you won't get another job, while he's offering me another contract. Not in my mind going, well, he's offering me a contract, but I went, boy, he must be right. If I leave here, then, you know, I'm going to commit career suicide. So I never had confidence at ESPN. Like, I was always nervous that somebody's going to come in and go, hey, you're done. Come on, get out of here.
Where do you think that comes from?
Oh, probably growing up where I was always insecure. You know, but I made myself insecure because it made me a better athlete. Like, I wanted doubt. I wanted to doubt myself. And then all of a sudden you go, wow, I'm spiraling downward. I have doubts about, like, I'd never ask out a girl, ever. They always had to, like, you know, send a note.
Wait for them to come to you.
Do you like me? Yes or no?
Wow, that must have been a long time waiting then.
Yeah, it was, but you know, Amy Lakes came to the rescue, and God love Amy. But I was really good at basketball. So because of that, you know, my identity was in my basketball. And then all of a sudden I got to college, and I realized that I wasn't going to be able to play, and then I lost my identity again, and therefore I didn't have any girlfriends. And then I got into TV and then realized, now all of a sudden I got better looking.
100 girlfriends.
How did I didn't get better looking. I didn't. And somehow then you had somebody who might have liked you a little bit. Like, oh, you're on TV, you look a little better.
I mean, everyone looks, someone likes you when you're on TV, right? It's just, they think you're cooler than you are.
We're so overrated. We are.
I like you. It's like you know, Dan Patrick and I, we're pretty overrated.
You're underrated.
Yeah.
You're underrated.
You think so?
But as, you know, we went to break and you teased this, how great a drinker you are.
I was hoping we had to bring this up.
So Julie sends me videos.
Okay.
She sends me pictures.
Okay.
She sends me things that even her boyfriend Spike doesn't get.
Okay, all right.
And I appreciate that. But I marvel. I truly marvel that you're a party favor. Like you're a party in a box. And there are times
I don't
when
know if that's a compliment or not.
Well, with Drinks with Binks,
Perfect.
I mean, okay. But she was playing golf one time with hockey gloves on.
Yes, yeah.
And I went, damn, is she good? No, down to beer, crushed it, threw it away, and then you teed off.
Yeah. That's a classic move of mine. I mean, it makes people think I'm cool and good at golf, but I'm literally just
I didn't think you were good at
degenerate.
golf or cool. I thought, I just said, I want to party with you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. That's
at
least a nice feeling.
I wanted to party. Is that a compliment?
That is, yeah. I think so.
Because you're good at it.
Again, I'm worried now about my health. Like, okay, this is all fun and games, and then I go to 10,000 bachelorette parties. So I'm like, all right.
If I was a woman and I was getting married, I'd hire you to run my bachelorette.
Well, I appreciate that.
No,
Maybe you never know, right? 32 could end. So
you're good. You're good. Okay.
Well,
now
I got like two more.
We resume our regularly scheduled
Yeah, I got
program.
2 more bachelorettes coming up next year, which I'm kind of over it though. Like, I'm over the chugging the champagne, the strippers,
What's your bachelorette party going to be like?
Oh God, it's I'm gonna die.
Do you think you'll get married?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you want to get married?
I think so. Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
Do you think that you sabotaged relationships before?
100%.
Okay. But now you're. It all of a sudden got pretty serious, didn't it? Yeah, you were happy listening to me. I'm melting down with my family.
I'm trying to think of something like Patrick's. This is like St. Patrick's Day.
So you
special.
sabotaged.
We all do, don't we? And on that note, we're going to take a quick
Another break. But coming up, I'm going to tell you about.
What are we going to discuss? We're going to discuss a whole lot more.
Oh, that's not a good tease.
Didn't you know we finished? Bye. We'll see ya. All right, everyone, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. We are rocking and rolling with our waters here. We are staying hydrated. It's like the first water I've had in a month. I'm here with Dan Patrick, and we are really just getting into the nitty-gritty of our lives at this point. You told me you wanted to redo my profile, my social media profile.
No, I was going to just try to enhance it a little bit. That's why I'm telling some stories where people are really going to get to know you a little bit.
I think I do a good job of letting everyone know everything about me.
I just told them some things that they did not know.
I mean, these are still like new coworkers of mine, so they also don't know like my boyfriend's name is Spike, like things like that. So it is
and
everyone.
He looks like John Mayer.
Yeah.
As Julie tells us all the time. Hey, look at Spike. People say he looks like John Mayer. Now, when she did this to us the first time, we started singing John Mayer songs in the bar that night.
Mm-hmm. Georgia.
I've been driving up 85 and kind of morning.
All right. Because Georgia is... the song's name's Georgia, and that's your daughter's name.
Yeah, I have a daughter named Georgia.
So that was perfect. And you know John Mayer.
Yes.
You know a lot of celebrities, and especially one.
Well, you do too.
We both do. Again, you and I, we're basically the same.
I didn't date him.
No,
I did not date him.
But going back to...
Are you regretting this? Is this a bad idea?
Well, we still have a lot of time left, so we'll have to see just how bad of an idea it is.
Okay.
But I think it's a great idea. Okay. It's fun to banter with you.
Okay.
This is just like as if we were going out for dinner or...
How do you know what your best side is?
I knew you were going to say that.
How do you know I don't have a good side. Do I have a a side that's not as bad?
It depends what your perspective of your best side is. So
How do you know that that's your best side?
I don't have like a symmetrical face.
Well, nobody does.
No, really good-looking people do. That's what they say. People who, if you look at someone and you're like, wow, that person's hot, it means their face is symmetrical. That's like science. Okay.
No, but women see beauty differently than men do. So
Yeah.
you can say, boy, that guy's good looking, and then I go, what do you see in John Malkovich?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
you're not going to go, oh, his face is symmetrical, right?
Yes,
Okay,
you're right.
so
I'm not going to say that.
See, that's
but
bullshit.
if you,
we see, just surface beauty.
yeah, you see
Like
like
you guys see
what's created
Sugar
in,
daddy,
yeah,
you
in
know,
the
she
media.
looks like John Mayer,
yeah,
like,
yeah,
those kind of
yeah,
things.
that kind of stuff.
Like, I just want to know, are you hot?
Yeah. For guys, it's like basic. It's like, oh, does this girl look like a porn star?
But how can you guys not figure us out? We're really, really simple.
No, we know that.
I know, but women will say, oh, I can't figure men out. And I go, what's there to figure out?
It's more just like we figured it out, but it's just like, how do we deal with it now? Like, how do we try to have like some semblance of a relationship with this Neanderthal? I don't know where we're going with this.
No, I'm just wondering if this makes you want to get married.
I mean, my parents are divorced, so I have a real grim outlook on relationships. Which
And what
is
about Spike's?
cause for his dad passed away when he was younger, so we both grew up in.
We'll edit that out.
Yes,
We're going to edit this segment out, though, in post.
Yeah, we're going to cut this out.
Yeah, but back to your profile. You found your profile.
Yeah, so it's just basically like, how do you feel I don't know. I don't know which side is like technically better, but I like this side. And I didn't even tell them I wanted to sit on this side with the camera.
But
like
every
that.
picture you send me.
But then it's like my
You're
smile's kind of
always-
weird on this side. It's like,
But every picture you send me, you're always showing that side.
yeah, because I only send you good pics.
I know,
I'm
but
not gonna send you one like my gargoyle side.
But you have a good side. God, I'm envious of that.
Hey, that's such.
Oh.
You have both. You have two good sides. There you
No,
go.
that's
all.
bullshit. You're just saying that.
No.
Okay, so what's the next question?
Well, now that we've figured out what sides we have in this,
Cheers.
some of the cheers.
yeah.
Cheers.
Yeah. By the way, these are not really, like I can put that over there. It's just for display, like it doesn't matter.
Yeah, the whole
So you
thing.
can still hear
just
me, right?
doesn't-
Like I can put the microphone.
All right.
No, I'm not.
You're not even drinking.
I know. Could you?
You're not even drunk. Oh man. Yeah, this has really gone off the rails with us just having nothing.
I don't
in
think
our
you've
drinks.
seen me drunk.
No, but I've seen you have a couple cocktails.
Yeah.
What, on the topic of drinks, like, what's your best drinking experience in like a sporting capacity? Like we talked about Sochi, but on the road.
Like competition?
No, just like if there is, what kind of event when you've traveled on the road or with different broadcasters or friends, like what's been your best sort of.
No, the last people you want to go out with are fellow broadcasters. Because you know what happens? All they do is talk about themselves. Hey, how great am I? Hey, what'd you think of? And you're going, could I stab myself and be less painful right now? Like, could I? Like, I'll do it. Like, just a flesh wound. Oh, I'm bleeding. I gotta go.
You're hanging out with the wrong broadcasters.
Yeah.
But a lot of them do talk like that.
Yeah, I don't enjoy doing that.
I mean, I traveled with the Anaheim Ducks for 3 years, and the broadcast team I had was incredible. It was like we would track what cities we were going to, see what bars were where, what was open late. We just had such a great time together. And that's what made the job so good, because you just had this like great family of people.
Yeah, I like the people behind the scenes at ESPN. They were a lot of fun because they didn't have any agenda. They just, if you went and you had a beer with them, then you had just a normal conversation.
Right, just a normal person.
But don't go out with fellow sportscasters.
Yeah.
Ugh, all we do is want to talk about ourselves.
Right.
But you don't. Like, you're pretty good
I
at
love
that.
talking about myself.
I know,
Okay.
but you're pretty good at, you'll ask occasionally, like
I'll occasionally drop
like
in a
one-
question every once in a while.
5 things about you and then 1 about me.
Just to,
That's the
even
ratio.
it out.
And I go, okay, there's 4 things about Julie. There's 5
you're
things.
kidding.
Oh, the next one's about me.
Well, guess what? I have
I mean,
plenty
what do
more
you think?
questions about
Oh, wait, another
for you.
tease?
Lots
Wait,
more
we're going to
questions
break?
coming your way when we come back
Wait.
after the break.
Good God, how many commercials? everybody thought, boy, you're having fun. Our job is to make it seem like
Right.
you're having fun. Like, you can't have a bad day anchoring SportsCenter.
No.
Because people won't let you. They're like, come on, you get to be on TV talking sports. And it took a little while for me just to say, basically, it.
Welcome on back to Drinks with Binks. I'm Julie Stewart-Binks. We've got Dan Patrick. We're drinking some water.
Julie got yelled at during the commercial break.
I did not.
Yes. I think it was a guy named Mike who came out and said, profile, like your profile, you're showing too much profile.
He was like, can you turn your face the other way? This one's not going to do it
We're
for us.
seeing too much of the back of your head.
I was just so engaged in this conversation, asking you questions, and I wanted to ask you a couple more.
Okay.
You mentioned drinking with sports broadcasters isn't your thing. You were just back at your old workplace.
Yeah.
At ESPN,
Yeah.
and it was really neat to see you, obviously, with Keith Olbermann again, and it was a surprise because no one knew you were doing the show again.
Yeah.
What was that like
How's
for you?
my profile?
It's always good, Dan. You want to hear that?
It's never good. I agreed to do it. Initially, I was just going back. They were going to have kind of a group where everybody at ESPN got to show up for this town hall meeting. And I said, I'll go back for that. And they said, well, what would you think about going back on SportsCenter? And I said, no, because I can never be as good as what I once was or what people remember me being. I didn't want to try to do it. And then the more I thought about it, I thought, okay, if I go back and we do it, you can't tell anybody.
Right.
Because then it'll be fun. Because I wanted it to be somebody watching going, oh, there's clips of Dan and Keith, and all of a sudden they would go, oh, holy shit. Oh, they're doing SportsCenter. And Scott Van Pelt was wonderful. He was generous in letting us sort of take over his show. And I said, let's do a couple of highlights, but I don't want to try to recreate that. It was nice being on there with Keith, but you know, ESPN I don't think could process not promoting it because ESPN they lead the league in promoting.
Yeah.
And I went, no. I'm with Chris Berman and Bob Lee on campus that afternoon. They did not know. And I said, this is awesome. And then all of a sudden, you know, words started to, you know, trickle out. And I said, let's just get it done. And then it was over. Like I'm officially retired from SportsCenter. And it was nice to see Keith and some other people that I work with, really the people behind the scenes who, they're the unsung heroes. But I was glad to go up.
So what, doing it, having the concerns that you had about going back with Keith and doing the show, how did that end up turning out versus what you thought it would be like?
Oh, it's never as good as you think. I mean, it's not. But that's me because I wanted it to be great. And then, you know, my wife said, if you're going to do it, just have fun with it. Don't expect it to, because I would grind over every SportsCenter I did. I just wanted it to be perfect. I used to watch every single one. I'd get done with it, and I'd have the tape, and I'd go up and watch the entire SportsCenter. And I don't know what I was looking for. I was looking for imperfection, and that's not a way to go about it. And then I stopped doing it and just said, you know what, it's done, it's out there in the ether, and let it go. And that helped me a little bit, because I'd look at how my tie was tied. I'd look at everything. How did I sound? Everything. And I became micromanaging. And I was really undermining myself, and I just said, just have fun. Just have fun with it. And everybody thought, boy, you're having fun. Our job is to make it seem like you're having fun. Like, you can't have a bad day anchoring SportsCenter because people won't let you. They're like, come on, you get to be on TV talking sports. And it took a little while for me just to say, basically, it. You know? If you make a mistake, the best thing, and I always tell young broadcasters, if you make a mistake, own the mistake. Because then you're with the audience. And, you know, a lot of times you make a mistake and then you're not sure how to act. We would make mistakes. We'd mispronounce. You'll love this one. Nikolai Habibulin. When he first got called up, I called him Nikolai Khabibulin. And so it just sort of became
great.
Every time he would be, in goal, I'd call him Khabibulin. Then you have people that say, "Hey, his name is Habibul." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
Yeah, just lean into
okay,
it, right?
yes.
Yeah, it's fun that way.
But it's so many memories, and I did probably 2,500 sports centers,
Wow.
and they're all live. And that's the other thing is, you have to be great at the end of your day. How many jobs do you if you're a heart surgeon, I don't think you're waiting for at the end of your day to be, I don't want to be operated on at the end of your day.
No.
At the beginning of your day or in the middle of your day. And you had to be great at the end of the day. And, it was live. But I love that feel of it could go horribly wrong.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen.
But that's the fun part of it. And Keith Olbermann was a tremendous teammate, tremendous. And it's really two individuals, but you're trying to do it together. Mm-hmm. And I'd be on with Stuart Scott, and we were completely we weren't friends off the air, but on the air, I had to kind of complement his style. So everybody that I worked with, it was my job in my mind to go, okay, Bob Lee's the serious one, I got to have fun.
Right.
Keith, he would be funny one segment, and then I'd have to be serious. Or he'd be serious, and then I'd try to be a little lighthearted. Kenny Mayne was always lighthearted. I had to be a little more serious. Stewart would be so over the top that I'd be more subtle. So you really had the game plan of who you worked with there. But, God, I can't believe that I got that opportunity because I was really, really fortunate.
Yeah, it seemed when I've been hearing some different quotes you've had about the whole experience going back that it almost puts closure for everything.
Well, as my wife said, because I moved on. I didn't have a good divorce from ESPN. And it's been 13 years, and my wife said, how about you think of closure for other people? And I went, why? And she goes, these people may not know how to have closure with this. And it was actually great. Damn her, she's really good at these things.
Yeah,
so
she's been throughout your entire career.
And she just said, it'll give people closure. And you'll be surprised that it'll give you closure as well. And she's right. I was happy I did it because I got to see so many people up there that I wouldn't have been able to see if I didn't go back there. And, it was good to go back, but it was good to leave too. Mm-hmm. Like I knew I was going, I love what I do now. I love the people I work with. We have fun. I'm the boss. I'm HR. I'm everything. And, and so, yeah.
Yeah.
But wait, are we going to break again?
Well, you know what? I'd love to hear more about what you love about your current situation, but we've got to take a quick time out. We'll have more coming up after the break on Drinks with Binks.
Am I distracting?
All right. You're also the stage manager here, too.
2-1.
Thank you so much.
Well, Flynn is over here not doing shit, and she just does makeup, and she should be doing floor directing.
Well, we all wear a lot of hats here on this show, so I'm sure Flynn, our makeup artist,
Flynn played basketball at the University of Buffalo.
Yeah, she is quite the athlete. Yeah, I mean, give it up for Flynn. She's moving on up to floor director.
See you make that segue there, Julie.
Yeah. Okay, so before the break, you talked about the Danettes and about your new job, and not new. I mean, you've been in it for many years now.
Yeah, long time. Yeah.
And Paulie and Seton and Fritzy and Perloff, like all these guys they're great guys. How would you describe like what your relationship's like with them now versus when you guys started so many years ago?
They're just friends. Like we laugh so much. It was. And that's why I wanted to show even behind the scenes. So when we first started, I said, okay, simulcast a radio show. How can it be interesting? I wanted to have a man cave. I wanted to have a golf simulator, basketball. Like I wanted to have movement there. And then I said, can we film, when we go to commercial break on radio, can we film that on TV and show people? Because they always wonder, like, what happens during commercial breaks? Mm-hmm. And then we show you what happens with commercial breaks. And you're on for 3 hours, but we show you everything. I mean, we've shown a lot of things we should never show on TV, but that's the fun part of it.
Right.
And they sign up for it. But I'm right there with them. I do the stupid things as well. So it's not like I go, hey, you guys do the stupid stuff, and then
You're all in it together.
Yes, and they've, you know, we've been in a couple of Sandler movies. You know, Sandler put him in a couple of movies. You know, we rang the bell at the stock exchange. We've been, you know, we've done all these things.
A lot of bucket list type of things.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But when I first started, I didn't want to hear me. I was tired of hearing me. And I thought, if we have an ensemble where you almost have a studio audience that gets to interact with you. So when you say something funny, you laugh. Say something stupid, they call you out on it. Say something wrong, they correct you. And I wanted to have that kind of platform, that format that was different than everybody else. But I needed to have guys who were different, but they were sharp, and, you know, Seaton is a really bright guy. Paulie's been in my ear for a long time as my producer. Fritzy's hysterical, and McLovin is smart enough to play dumb.
Right.
And so you just have all these personalities, and it's just, you know, 3 hours goes by so quickly. And they allow us to just do it. And I never have anybody, I don't have a boss who said, don't do that or do that.
Right.
Never.
Well, you guys all have great chemistry. Like it works. It's sort of like a team, right? You figure out your strengths, your weaknesses. You have them.
Well, you're
like the team captain.
Yeah,
right?
you can't. Like people go, you know, how do you guys get along? Or I just said I don't overthink it. You just do it, and then that way you know, we don't talk about strategies or anything. It's just
natural. Yes, and you just kind
it
of
just happens, right? And you go off on a tangent, which I love because that's how my mind works. I have a hard time staying on something, and I'll be on this, and next thing I know, I'm over here, and then I'll go, how did I get over here? But
they're also there to kind of
and they know that, you know, there are times when that umbilical cord is taking you, and you're going, I don't know where he's going.
Right.
You know, you're sort of George Clooney and Gravity, like I'm floating out there, but we're having a good time drinking.
You're having a good time. Yeah, I mean, you don't know why you're there, but you're having a good time.
Do we have to take another commercial break?
No, we don't.
Good God.
Now, I know that I've really enjoyed hearing your stories about the Sandler movies and just like your relationship with him. What would be something that would surprise the regular fan, the regular person about Adam?
Well, first of all, there's no regular person. You're all special in my mind. I just want to let you know. Julie may think you is average or normal. I think you're special people, every single one of you, all 7 of you.
Okay.
I think you're.
Well, hopefully we got 7. This is a big night then.
Sandler he's probably the same way he is on camera. He's one of those guys that, and if you've been out with comedians, they don't always laugh because they want to be the funny guy.
Right, oh, yeah.
Sandman will listen and he'll laugh. He'll let you be funny or funnier than him. And he's generous. And I always look and see how people treat my guys, the Danettes. So when Bryan Cranston comes in, or Will Ferrell, or Sandman, or Darius Rucker, they say hello to the Danettes first because they walk in and they see the Danettes, and then I'm over here at my desk. I want to see if they acknowledge them because that tells me a lot about them. And that's what I love. When somebody says, well, what's Will Ferrell like? I said, he's just what you think, or just what you would hope. Bryan Cranston the same way. You get those people who are mega stars, and they take time for our little show, and they come down to our level.
Yeah,
and I'm very, very, very appreciative of that.
So you played a bunch of different roles in some of his movies. If you were to, you know, pick your dream role, not necessarily in an Adam Sandler film, but on the silver screen, what would it be?
I don't have any aspirations. Like, I'm around it enough. I think I've been in 7. I just shot my 18th Sandler movie.
Ooh, when?
And I was up in Cape Cod. I play a school principal for a Halloween movie.
Awesome.
But I couldn't do that. Like, they make it look so good, but you sit around, and then the takes, and then the angles, close up, all of that. I couldn't do it. Like,
it's a long day of shooting.
Oh my God, because I'm only there for one day, and then I spent 14 hours on set, and I'm going to be on camera for probably 60 seconds at the most.
It's exhausting.
And I said to Sandler, I don't know how you do it, and you know, he agreed. I mean, it's tough, but I watch these guys. That's when you see a performance that's emotional. How many times did you have to do that? And then they'll do a reversal. Okay, now we're going to do a close-up. And I'm going, God love them, man.
Yeah, crying, different things like that. But then, hey, hosting a 3-hour live sports radio show is probably difficult for them as well. Some people can't do live.
Let me see Daniel Day-Lewis do what I do.
Yeah, I mean, come on, step up, Daniel
Yeah, you can be Lincoln, big deal.
All right, well.
Wait, we going?
Well, we got to take one more time out. Maybe another one after that. But when we return, we've got some quick hits, some real juicy,
you got cards?
Juicy questions. Oh! And you will want to hear the answers to that on Drinks with Binks.
That's it.
All right, welcome back to Drinks with Binks. I got Dan Patrick telling me when I'm supposed to speak. Yep, this is tartan.
Now, is that in style?
Very in style.
Okay.
Plaid. I like to call these my comedy pants because I wear them when I do stand-up comedy.
Oh, okay.
It distracts people from the actual performance.
Okay.
All right, we've got some quick hits for you that we like to ask all of our guests on the show, you being the second guest.
I was going to say.
So, first off, what do you think is...
Am I supposed to be looking at you?
I don't know. This is, again, the second time we've done this, so.
Like, I feel like this is... Is that my camera there? Is that,
there.
Okay.
That one.
Okay, right there.
Okay, so what do you feel is something incredibly underrated?
With me?
In the world.
In the world? The person who came up with these questions, I think they're really underrated.
Dan is getting married this week, so he's not here to
he
see
is
his
mailing
work.
this shit in today, because these questions, good luck. Okay. I'm going to take the under in your marriage, Dan.
All right, what is an occupational hazard of your profession that most people wouldn't realize?
Sore throat.
Okay. From... just getting sick or speaking too much?
I just gave you the answer. I don't need to give you an explanation.
Okay, well, spicy here. If you had to pick 3 childhood idols, who would they be?
Can they still be idols now? Like, why my childhood?
Just when you were a kid. Like,
when I was a kid.
Who did you idolize when you were a kid?
Muhammad Ali, Pete Maravich, and Keith Jackson, the football announcer.
Okay.
And Brent Musburger, too, but that's 4. But
and you were a kid when he was...
Well, he did the first pregame show, Brent did. And then Keith Jackson was the voice of college football. And Ali, I was always fascinated that he was telling you what he was going to do. Like, all these guys now are pretenders. Like, Ali was a badass, man. He was saying, I don't want to go to war. I don't have anything with the Viet Cong. They didn't do anything to me. You're going to take away my title. All right, I'll come back. I'll eventually win that title. And then just all the philanthropic stuff that he did. Unfortunately, I met him when he couldn't speak any longer. But I was around him and his wife, Lonnie, and you know, his eyes still sparkled. And he'd always shadow box with you, and he would do magic tricks, and there was something about him. He was a whole lot. And it wasn't until Atlanta Olympics when he lit the flame that I think America finally embraced him.
Okay.
But, you know, he had Parkinson's. You know, you could tell that he was fragile and shaking. And I think that's when America finally said, you know what? This guy's a hero.
Yeah. I mean, what an incredible idol to have. 2 tickets to any sporting event in the world. What would you choose?
Oh, gosh, I've been to just about all of them.
I know.
Because I wouldn't get the tickets. I'd just use my press pass to get in. Then I don't need to get the ticket. Then I would scalp the tickets and then end up at a pub.
That's the hard part when you work in sports. It's...
Yeah. I would say Wimbledon. Because I haven't been there. I was going to go when Pete Sampras won.
Oh, yeah.
And name drop, he invited me to go there. And that's when he climbed up into the stands to hug his parents, and I missed out on that. And I think it would be cool to go.
You've never been
to Wimbledon?
Yeah.
No, I've been to Wimbledon, but there was no tennis going on.
It seems like
it leaves a lot to be desired. You're going, wow, this is
miscalculation on your
really
part.
boring. Yeah.
You know, I mean, you've been to pretty much everything, as you said. You've done it all. So when you've done it all, and it's your job as well, it's a little bit
True.
You know, it's a little bit different.
What's the next question?
That's it. So
Wait, that's all
we're not done, but
Oh, wait, another break?
no, not a break yet.
Oh, we're done. Oh,
yeah,
no, we got
I
more.
mean, and you know, speaking of all the different things you've done, if you had to, you know, whittle it down to one or two sort of moments in your career, sports career, what would they be, or events that you've covered?
Handing out the Super Bowl the first time, Super Bowl trophy, in Tampa, and it was Pittsburgh against Arizona, and I was watching on the sideline. So Arizona takes the lead, Larry Fitzgerald, touchdown, and Pittsburgh gets the ball back with around 2 minutes to go. So they're 80 yards away. I'm on the sidelines, and Steve Young, the Hall of Fame quarterback, is there, and he's doing play-by-play in color of what it's like to be in that position as the quarterback. So I got Steve Young telling me what Ben is doing and how incredible it is. And it's surreal because I'm going to hand out the trophy. I don't know who I'm handing the trophy out to because Pittsburgh got a score. So I'm thinking, what are my questions for Arizona? I got Kurt Warner, I got the Bidwells, I got Larry Fitzgerald, and okay. And then Ben gets the ball back, and then he's leading him down. I go, God, I could be, you know, maybe the Rooneys, and then it's going to be Ben, and then it's who's going to be the, and he throws the touchdown pass. I get to the podium. I don't know who the MVP is.
Oh my gosh.
So it's chaos. I got the commissioner coming up, and he's going, "Hi, Dan, how are you?" And I'm going, "Hey, commissioner." Like, who's the MVP? And then all of a sudden, I think it's Joe Namath starts bringing the trophy up. So Ben's here, and Santonio Holmes is here. I think Ben thinks that he's winning the MVP. I don't know who's the MVP, so I'm yelling. It's so crowded, so chaotic. And I got my producer in my ear going, "Hey, you got to get ready here. You know, we're going to throw it to you." And I go, "Who is the MVP? Who's the MVP?" And they're like, and then somebody yells out, "Holmes." I go, "Holmes? Santonio Holmes. Okay, thank you." And all of a sudden, Joe Namath comes up and appears like in 5 seconds, and I'm on. And then I go, you know, "Ladies and gentlemen, the commissioner of the NFL, Roger Goodell," and I hand him the microphone.
Wow.
Well, you're told, I've handed out the trophy 5 times. You're told never give up the microphone.
Right.
Ever. Ever.
Speaking of which, I got to take that microphone back from you right now.
Are we done?
No, we're not done yet. We got to take a quick break. And then I definitely want to hear the end of the story.
And then
but we got to go to break. Sorry, old man. We're going to have to cut you off right now. We'll be back with more on Drinks with Binks.
Good night, everybody. See you later.
All right, guys, we're back on Drinks with Binks. We heard a really great story from you.
I'm not going to tell.
We're going to have to hear it on social, the rest of it. A great teaser. But that's it for us here on Drinks.
Wait, we're done? You made me sit through the commercial breaks?
Thank you so much for being here, Dan. You're the best sport ever. Thank you. Can't wait to have you back on again.
Are we done?
We're done on Drinks with Binks.
See you later.